Welcome to Nitpicking. There's another Top 10.
It's the top 10 commander cards from Midnight Hunt.
I'm your host, the incomparable Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, Regular Beezy, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, bringing you more daily content. And this is the most important shout out we've ever done, because there's only 24 hours left of our Kickstarter for Commander gameplay. If you want to get in on the ground level, be in the credits, get some cool perks, you got to go down and you got to help donate right now, or you never can, ever.
Literally your last chance. And if you don't want to support us that way and you just want to buy Magic cards, well, use the TCG Player link in the description below. That link takes you to the TCG Player, and as long as you went through that link, guess what? You spend the same amount of money you were going to spend, and the Nitpicking Nerds are supported? You got to be kidding me.
For free?
For free. So what are we doing today, BZ?
Well, we're counting down the top 10 commander cards from both Midnight Hunt, the regular set, and Midnight Hunt, all the commander product. We've got an honorable mention, so why don't we just get into it?
The honorable mention is Cathar Commando. This card's going to go actually in a lot of decks, and it might be one of the highest number of decks for cards, but this is like a flat power level, where it's never going to surprise or be the best card ever, but the fact is this is a Flash Kasali Pride Mage, so that's awesome.
Yeah, just don't sleep on it, but it's not one of the 10 best cards in the set. Number 10 is the Meathook Massacre. X black for a legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, each creature gets -X until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you gain 1 life. This card's doing a lot of different things. It's not a full-on board wipe because paying, 7, 8, 9 mana to kill every creature is probably not happening, but it's going to kill most of the creatures, and then it comes with this sick bonus of like an aristocrat card.
Yeah, the name of this card is Versatility. That is really all it is. It is a 2-mana enchantment that has the you gain life when their creatures die, and that when your creatures die, they lose life. That's already pretty good. Now you add in the fact that you can just throw X into this, kill small creatures, kill all creatures. You're just talking about a card that is versatile across the board. This fits in a lot of decks, and honestly, it's so cool. Also, name of it, Meathook Massacre? That's an amazing name.
Yes, I think that this is like Black Sun Zenith. Black Sun Zenith I think is terrible, but when you staple on when a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. That's what we're talking about. That's the sick part that makes this really worth considering in a bunch of different decks.
Sometimes this card will just be a game ender. If you have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 creatures and your opponents are all low life totals, cast this, wipe the board, game over.
They lose 11 life.
Yeah, exactly. So this card can just be a game finisher. Also versatile early play. You might just play it on turn 2 for black as this enchantment that's going to stick around and be annoying.
Yeah, I don't think that's that crazy of a spot to play it.
It's like the floor of it, and that's fine. That's
pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. What do we have next, BZ?
Number 9 is Auger of Autumn, which is 1 green for a 2/3 human druid. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You can play lands from the top of your library, and Coven lets you play creature spells from the top of your library as well. This is a solid little card. I think this one might actually be a little bit overrated, if I might say so, but the effect you get, as long as you can trigger Coven, this is going to be rock solid. I feel like this is more of like a C level, where I could see cutting it in a lot of decks.
Yeah, maybe there is a lot of decks that do want this card, but I definitely think you want to have a super high creature count for those decks. And on top of having a super high creature count, I just feel like you want to make sure you're going to have Coven too. I mean, that's pretty trivial, but still, this card is good. There's no doubt. This will get you a lot of card advantage, and you'll be able to do a lot of good things. I mean, we have it at number 9. The number 9 best card from the whole set. So it's not like we're putting this card as bad or unplayable, just that don't just shove this in any green deck. This isn't an auto-include by any means.
This is not Oracle of Moldiah. I think you really need to get some kind of extra land synergy to make Auger of Autumn like worth playing, because you still have the brick scenario where you play a land and then it's a land, and that's not that great.
Yeah, I just think what you want to take away here is don't shove this in every deck. Yes, it has homes. Yes, it's good. Just don't let all the overhype be like, I have to get this for every single one of my green commander decks, period.
Yeah, I want like 75 hits off of this, and I want to play extra lands. What is number 8, Joe Cherries?
Well, it's Wall of Mourning. It's no 4 when it enters the battlefield. Exile a card face down for each opponent you have. At the beginning of your end step, if you have Coven, put one of those cards into your hand at random. Okay, this card is nice card advantage for white, especially mono white or Boros decks that aren't going to be able to do it consistently. Also, 0 power for Coven is going to make it absolutely, it's already trivial in decks that play a decent number of creatures to get Coven. Now you have the 0 power covered. You need a 1 and a 2. This is the easiest thing ever. Coven is a joke to get. We had a comment saying I don't think any of these Coven cards are playable because it's too hard to get. I think the opposite. I think it is absolutely trivial. There is no challenge to getting Coven at all in Commander.
You make a token, the creature itself, and then you throw in like a wall of Mourning, and then you just have it. You just have it. It's not something that anyone can even really take away from you. This gets you the card back on your turn, which makes it essentially a cantrip, which means it's just going to sit. You're just going to play it early. It's just going to sit there. No matter what happens afterwards, you got one card out of it. And this is one you can flicker after the 3 cards are gone. The 3 cards at random thing is a little confusing. It's exactly draw a card.
I think the reason it's a card at random is because there are ways to look at the top card of your library.
Well, no, but they want you to have 3 cards off of it. But they don't want you to see them. They want it to be draw a card, but this thing can only draw 3 cards.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they don't want you to know, I guess, that you're necessarily going to get that first card. It's just draw a card, but you can only do it 3 times, and that's how they had to word it. Yeah, it's a very strange card, but it works well, and I think this is great card advantage for, especially, like I said, Mono White and Boros absolutely are going to adore this card, and they're going to be all over it.
Yeah, this card's great.
Yeah. Next, we have Giza, Glorious Resurrector. 2 black for a 4/4. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all creatures onto the battlefield exiled with Giza. They are zombies, and they gain Decayed. Not too long ago, we mentioned how good Kalidas was just because of this line of text. Well, I think Giza's a little bit stronger because the fact of the matter is, yeah, you're not getting 2/2s. You're potentially getting those creatures back. All ETBs, they can attack once. I think Giza is a very strong Magic card. That first line of text, creatures your opponent controls dies, exile them, I think is just incredible.
Yeah, no dice triggers for you. And if they have ETB triggers, I'll take them. And I'll take the dice triggers too. I'm probably not going to attack with them unless there's something crazy. Like a Grave Titan. Then I'll attack with it. But this is just steals creatures. And I think that it's kind of going to be a lightning rod because they're not going to want to give their stuff away. But when their creatures get exiled, and they kill Giza, the creatures just stay exiled. So that's still kind of a bonus for you.
Yeah, exactly. There's just upside. It's like, oh no, it still did its thing. It's still here. This card is just strong. It's a nice 4-mana thing. You get it onto the battlefield. Yeah, like you said, it's a lightning rod for removal, but it doesn't matter. If there's other things to be removed, people aren't just going to go, I can't remove anything ever. Because, I'd rather somebody have a decayed version of it than the actual version of it.
Yeah, maybe they'll say that. She might stay around like Kalidas tends to.
Yeah, also, if you have any removal, on top of that, it turns, you just save up your instant speed removal, all of a sudden, boop, and a turn, kill this. Oh, on my upkeep, get it.
Yeah, end step, snuff out, untap, take it.
Yeah, exactly. Super strong card, and I'm forever, these 2 cards, number 6 is going to be paired with the next one because it has the same line of text on it.
From the same set.
Yes, it is Liesa, Forgotten Archangel. 2 white, black for a 4/5 flying lifelink. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it instead. Same exact text. If a creature you control dies, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Now, obviously, I think this card is better than Giza because I put it higher on the list, but I think it's a distinctive amount better. The exile effect is, great, amazing. We just talked about how good that is. The return effect is even better. This is crazy. Any of your creatures dying, even if she's out and a board wipe is cast, they'll trigger to come back to your hand. Absolutely. I am in for this card. I love this card so much.
Yeah, even if somebody goes to kill Lisa, you can sack your entire board if you want. Then the trigger goes on the stack for them to return. Even if Lisa's not there, they'll still return at the end step.
Yeah, they trigger upon dying. So when they die, this is a delayed trigger that'll go into the stack, and now at the end step, boop, they back.
There's no stopping it. It's like Athreos on steroids. You're always going to get your creatures back. They can just keep... If they have flash, you can play the same creature every turn.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a big fan of Liesa. She also is a 4/5 lifelink. Nice stats. Lifelink and flying are 2 stats. When you combine them, it's awesome. That's an 8-point life swing every single turn, and she blocks most things in this format. Yeah, she's awesome.
Actually, you know what's weird? Our honorable mention, Cathar Commando, is insane in a Lisa deck.
Yeah.
You just play it, flash it, it dies, sack it out, and then just keep doing it.
Yeah, wow.
That's funny.
You're absolutely right.
Specifically that card is really good.
Yeah, that is a great combo for that deck because it has flash and because it sacrifices itself. Dang. Yeah, nice combo.
Move on to number 5. It's Ghouls Night Out. 3 black for a sorcery. For each player, choose a creature card in that player's graveyard. Put them onto the battlefield under your control. They're black zombies, and they gain Decayed.
Now you might be wondering, Nitpicking Nerds, this is number 5? You didn't grade it that high in your grading video. Yeah, we misread this card originally.
You misread this card.
We misread this card. You can't say...
No, I didn't bother reading it.
Okay, then you're ignorant. Sorry.
Yes.
So Ghouls Night Out, we thought it was the players picked which card you got. No, you picked. This card is actually very, very strong. Getting the best creature from every graveyard onto the battlefield with Decay is incredible.
It's really good. It's not going to be Rise of Dark Realms, Living Death level because you can't do much with them. They're just there. But if you can steal potentially a game-winning threat like a Craterhoof or something, maybe you just win on the spot and you just get to go, thanks for having that thing die. I'll win now.
You put it into your Reanimator decks. You reanimate a big giant threat for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you also reanimate their biggest threats. I really do think this card is very good and belongs in a lot of decks. I was so low on it because I thought they picked. Now that I know that you pick, you could potentially get 4 good threats, and that's crazy for one card.
As long as you get a sick, nasty reanimate like an Ashen Rider or like a Razaketh maybe, where once it enters, it's going to do a spell-like thing. The rest is gravy, and it's okay that they die at the end of combat when you attack with them.
Ashen Rider is perfect for it because Ashen Rider comes in, you get the ETB, and then eventually he attacks, does his 4 or 5 damage. You have 4. His 5 damage, and then he sacrificed himself to the Decayed ability.
Perfect.
Woo!
That's what I would love to have that happen. And, like Grey Merchant you can bring back. You're getting other stuff too. Just take all the black creatures. This card's really good. It's not going to your creatures can't block. Just keep that in mind. It's not like the ultimate board state builder. It's just really good ETBs, and then you can attack with them.
Yeah, these are not combat. Yeah, this isn't about combat. This card is about ETBs, static abilities, and stuff like that, being a sack outlet.
Yeah.
They need to produce these cards. You want these cards to be something better than an attacker. An attacker is worthless.
Don't get Grave Titan.
A 7/7 trample is not something you want to get with these because they're just going to die. No, you want actually Grave Titan's fine. He has an ETB. I'm totally fine with getting if I'm reanimating out of their deck.
Maybe.
I'm fine with that. I don't want it in my deck.
As long as I don't have to play it.
Yeah, I'm like that's probably going to be one of the better targets in someone else's graveyard for, when you're getting your big threat and theirs. Hey, I'm in for 4 free zombies here.
It might not be worth adding Grave Titan hype to the world, so you might just target like their Burnish Tart instead.
No, I would take Grave Titan. I'll still take Grave Titan. Next we have Plunginggeist Catcher. 3 and a black for a creature, human rogue, 2/4. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, exile it. If that creature was a token, put a +1/+1 counter on Plunginggeist Catcher. Whenever Plunginggeist Catcher leaves the battlefield, return each card exiled with it to the battlefield under your control. This card has one big drawback in that if you sacrifice creatures, you won't be able to get death triggers while he's out. That being said, it does not matter. You're just going to eventually put your whole team under this, get rid of him, and get your whole team back for all those ETB triggers again, and then you can sack him for death triggers after that.
Yeah, I don't think there's any really way to stop this. You can phase it out, I guess. That might, it won't exist, but you can still just, when it comes back, guess what? All my creatures are back. This is a really, really, really good card, and I'm noticing now for the first time, again, stops death triggers, but it's yours.
Yeah.
Why does every card in the set stop death triggers?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I don't know why every card in the set stops death triggers. Probably because there's a million death triggers because it's on Innistrad.
I guess, but this card's really solid. This one's from the Commander product. It's going to function a little bit like, what's that card? Blood Tracker? The greed that you just put counters on, and then when it leaves, you just draw that many cards. There's no way to, it's just going to sit here. There's no way to stop it. It's going to feel bad every time you try to kill it. But the secret is, you just have to feel bad because it's only going to get worse.
Yeah, exactly. What's going to happen is if you target it for removal, they'll stack everything under it. Fine, you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
Now everything comes back. And
triggers.
That's going to happen almost no matter what you do. And if you use a removal spell elsewhere on their board, it's not going to matter. They're going to sack it and just it'll hide underneath it until they want to get rid of it. And it's under their control because they already have a sack outlet.
You have to take this thing out. You got to just go right for it or you're going to get screwed.
Absolutely. I think this card is an absolute house in any deck that has lots of... It's like the graveyard decks that have the ETBs and the death triggers. Both of those, woo, we're in for that.
How about number 3?
This is Rite of Harmony. Green-white for an instant. Whenever a creature or enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, this turn, draw a card. Flashback, 2 green-white. We're not super high on Glimpse of Nature, but we are super high on this card for a couple of reasons. One, it cares about enchantments. Now, that's the littler reason. The big reason is it cares about tokens. Oh my goodness, this is just a 2-card combo with so many things. You just pay 2 mana, and then you secure the waste. You can just hold up 10 mana, pass, play this for 2, secure the waste for 6 now. Or 7. It's 7. It's even better. Secure the ways for 7. Oh my god, draw 7 fresh new cards? Wow.
Why did it have to be 7 over 6?
Well, because I said 10 mana already.
Oh, you said 10 mana. Okay.
Yeah. I had given a mana total out already. That's why.
Yeah, and if you're super ready to storm off and you have a ton of mana and not much to do with it, play it and flash it back and you get double. You get double.
Yeah, exactly. So you can just... There can be a time in the game where it's like, oh, it's going super late. It's grinding out. I drew this on the top. That sucks. Now you wait. You draw another card. Okay, it's a creature. Play it. Flash it back. Creature, draw 2 cards. Potentially just storm off if you got a lot of mana to use.
Yeah, I mean... Gather the Townsfolk is draw 2 cards. You played 2 cards, you got 2 tokens, and you drew 2 cards. This card is flashback.
Yeah, I'm really high on this card. The fact that it is all about the tokens. That is the thing that takes this card from it's okay to wow, this is a real card for this format.
Yeah.
Because tokens and token makers are everywhere, and there are plenty of them. If you can play this, followed up by an Avenger Zendikar, that's insane. It's absolutely bonkers when you do that. You draw a card, and then you draw equals to the number of lands you control.
Those are like Planeswalker Ultimates.
Yeah, exactly. These are insane numbers of draws for one card. You just have to have a deck built to make these tokens, and you're all in on this card.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you can play this and then play Replenish if you want to do the enchantment route. Oh, they're all here for 4 mana. I paid 6 mana total. I'll just draw a card for each enchantment in my graveyard. No big deal. And they're all in play.
I think we'd be talking about this card even if it didn't have flashback. But it just
they just gave it flashback.
It's just stapled on there. It takes this card from it's really good and I would play it in token decks to it's really, really good and I would play it in lots of different decks.
Yeah, Glimpse of Nature is like an elf ball card, and this could go in an elf ball deck if you're white for some reason. But any commander that can make a bunch of tokens at once, this is auto include.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't even explain how high I'm in this guy.
So good.
I love it so much. The next one is a little more boring, but they're staples. They're commander staples through and through. They are the slow lands. This is a cycle of dual lands that enter the battlefield untapped if you control 2 other lands. That's almost all. First thing, when you want lands to come and tap the most often is most likely turn 1 when you least likely have plays. And then there's this weird spot in turn 2 where it could be them for the rest of the game. They're just untapped dual lands. I am absolutely super high on these. They're going to go in almost every one of my commander decks.
Unlike some of the previous dual lands we've gotten, like the Port Town cycle of reveal lands, the Snarls, that cycle, they're just mediocre. They're not actually that, the snow duels that enter tapped. They're fine. But these are one of the best duels. They're better. I think I was trying to figure out where they are in my power rankings. They're better than the Sun Petal Grove check land cycle, I think.
Yeah, if you watch our dual lands videos, we were high on those.
Yeah.
We like those. But those are getting pushed down the list. They're going from okay, I'd play these to I'm not really going to play them anymore because they keep making more duels and they're going to keep making more duels. Eventually those Sun Petal Grove, they're just not going to be good enough. They're great, but they're not going to be good enough when you're trying to optimize that deck.
Yeah, sometimes you got to eat your vegetables. So number 2 is this land cycle. Pick them up. If they're less than $5, I'm going to snag 1 million of these.
Yeah, I'm planning. My thought is to buy 10 of each when they're at their low in 2 weeks.
And that they're going to come out with the enemy cycle pretty soon because I think that they know they did good with this cycle.
I don't know. We still don't. There's still other cycles.
Where's our Amonkhet cyclers? Where's our battle lands? Those are some of the better duels, and we don't have the enemy colors.
Ugh, I hate those.
Let's start a new cycle.
Yeah, let's just start a new cycle. Number 1, the best card from the whole set. I don't even think it's relatively close.
Nope.
It's Vanquish the Horde. Sorcery. It costs 1 less for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures! Just destroy all creatures. This is a 2-mana board wipe almost all the time. I mean, we hype up Blasphemous Act all the time for being a 1-mana board wipe. Yep, this is 1 more mana. Still insane.
This is one of the best board wipes ever in the whole format. I don't know if it's better than Tragic Arrogance, but if it is, it's the best white board wipe, period. It's going to be an auto-include in every deck ever. You're just going to need to pick up a bunch of these. I hope they're cheap. I haven't checked the price, but I need to buy 10.
I do think this will be the best white board wipe overall. I think that being 2 mana is just...
Efficiency.
The efficiency's so high. And like you said, when you play Commander, there's just creatures everywhere. It's always going to cost you 2 mana. And when it doesn't, it's because it's versatile. And it's not like there has to be a creature to cast it. No, you can overpay for it if you need to in a pinch.
I think they summed it up pretty well on Limited Resources. They said it's got cases where it's bad, but those are the cases where you never want a board wipe. So, if you need a board wipe, it's the best board wipe ever.
Yeah.
And if you don't need one, you don't need one. Just play other cards.
Exactly. Vanquish the Horde is amazing. I do think it's the best white board wipe. It's like you said.
It could be.
It's competing with Tragic Arrogance. It's just so hard to compete with.
Taking 3 mana off and I lose the choice, that might be worth it. It probably is. One
of the most important things in Commander, and we talk about it all the time on this channel, is efficiency. And this is exactly that. This is an efficient spell. The reason Blasphemous Act and this are so good is because they cost so little mana, and you're the follow-up.
You rebuild first.
Yeah, sometimes you cast a board wipe, it's like pass. It's like, because you have to.
That's bad.
And that's not where you want to be. You cast this board wipe, you're not passing. No. You go, cast this board wipe, rebuild first, and then I'll be the first to untap with stuff.
Yeah, cast my board wipe, replay my commander, and then trigger it twice. And then the next person can go. Now I'm ready.
All right. Well, that is our video, and that is our top 10 for the set. Actually, kind of top 11 because we only have one honorable mention, so it's kind of just the top 11. But whatever, we don't want to talk about that. Special shout-outs to all of our patrons. Love you guys all as much as you can, making them comfortable. Seriously, we get patrons sometimes, and I'm just like, you guys are awesome. And I look at the number of patrons, I'm like, wow, that many people like and support us. It's like heartwarming.
It's pretty great. Whenever we get a new patron, and I do mean every single time, me and Joe yell, "New patron,
new patron,
new patron!"
Like across.
Usually we both say it because we both get the notification.
Yeah, one of us sees it first. Whoever's looking at their phone goes, "New patron,"
and then the person's like, "Oh, cool! How nice of them."
Yeah.
There's also the TCG player link.
Yeah.
Head to the description. Click the link. Fill your cart. Check out. And now because you started with the link, we get kickback on the order. It's amazing for all parties involved. But the real point to hammer home, it is the last day ever in the history of the universe to contribute to this Nitpicking Nerds Kickstarter for Commander gameplay.
Yes, 24 hours. If you are looking to support that gameplay, you're running out of time. You have to.
That's it.
What is it? Act now or forever hold your peace. Speak now.
Speak now. Donate now. I think they say.
Donate now or forever hold your peace.
Right. This is become a part of history. This is going to be big.
Yeah.
You're going to want to say that you're on the credits of it.
Yeah, exactly. Those credits that thank our patrons, you want to be there. Or not patrons. Our donators, backers. Backers is the term.
That's the thing. Unless some thing happens in the future, the credits aren't going to change. Every episode of this has the same foundation. You're going to be part of it. It's like I was there.
You want to be there. Believe me, you do. Well, now it's time for a tidbit about our lives. And I believe it is my turn.
Oh, thank God.
Well, this is pretty easy. We played Innistrad pre-release this weekend. I didn't lose a match.
Okay.
That doesn't count. No.
I beat him in the finals.
We split.
Yeah, but then I beat him in the finals.
We split and we played for funsies. Wasn't a real match. I went 2-0-1 and 3-0.
Hey, both of our records were 5-1, basically.
Yeah, essentially. But my actual record was 5-0-1.
Yes. The format looks really fun. I'm probably going to play it after this, now that I'm thinking about it. I was going to play last night and I forgot. I like the draft. Some of the rares are like, little much. But overall, it's been really, really cool. I like day and night. I like the dance you have to do. Sometimes it's a little punishing when you just get mana screwed, though, and they just run you over with a 6/6 on turn 5.
Yeah, sometimes that's going to happen. But that's not even the worst thing ever. It kind of just takes the games from being like, you're going to lose like in 3 turns, so I'm going to lose next turn.
Yeah, I guess. It just sucks. Like, you miss a land drop, you flip their werewolf, and now you're dead. Where if you hit a land drop, you play a blocker, and you're completely fine. It's like totally changes the whole game.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, and that can be a little bad, but I think the set is just really fun. The rare, I'm not going to complain about the rares because the problem with sets is when the uncommons and commons can't compete with the rares. The uncommons and commons can compete with the rares in the set. The removal is so strong. The limited environment feels so good.
Yeah, I've beaten like every rare that I looked at and I was like, oh, that's a problem. It's like, but you can answer all of them.
Yeah, exactly. The Grave Titan is insane and it's at rare. That thing.
Even that one though, I've beaten it, and it didn't feel like I literally couldn't lose.
No, yeah, but you did.
It was rough. I mean, it was rough.
You did have to. You 2-for-1 yourself to kill it.
I had a 2-for-1 myself,
and he had two 2/2s afterward.
It's amazing, but it's not impossible to recover from. There's a lot of 2/3s in the set.
There is a lot of 2/3s in the set. But that's our video. Peace out, Traps. Go.